it's time. And kind of feel a bit this. They're young. Let them do what they're doing. But yeah, man. Why don't we go for Maxwell Cornet? I mean, he'd be an okay option, but he doesn't. I mean, I'd rather him than Cody Gakpo at this moment in time. You know, based on what I've seen from Cody. I mean, he'll probably prove me wrong, but yeah, man, it could be a decent option. I mean, he actually could play wing back as well, so why not, man? Could do a lot worse. Weren't Chelsea onto him? Exactly. And apparently we've got a sick under 14. Can't remember his name. Someone told me about, but I ain't seen him kick a ball. We'll have to wait for that, man. We'll have to wait for that. We'll have to wait for that, man. Deluded Afro. I think City is unloading these players and are going to surprise the league with some wavy additions. Bro, Pep's Buki. No way you win a Premier League and you weaken the team. Supporting teams don't mean much, bro. You got to be selfish, bro. What does loyalty get you in football? What did it get Totti? Because when Totti was asking Roma to do certain things for him, they were acting. At some point, all you're going to get for your service is thanks for the memories and parked off. That you think fans are not going to remember that, oh, I turned down this club, I turned down that club, I turned down that, and it's your fault. The belly of the beast, you got one career. When it's done and you're talking to your grandkids, you don't want to have no regrets. And for me, you shouldn't be living for no one but yourself. You shouldn't be living for the fans. By all means, be loyal, do that, but know what comes with it. Bro, hella relating racism, man, but what's good, old mom, man? Couple more things we'll get into this, man. Love for the super chat, Jay. Shut up with your Marie stuff, man. We just got linked with Sane DG. Someone showed me to the right place. Don't you think that bringing Renell Waters on tour suggests that he's going to be part of the squad in the near future? Not necessarily. You know, he's been ripped a new one at 23's level sometimes. But generally, he had a very good season. I'm sure I said it in the video. He had a very good season last year. He deserves to be where he is right now because of that. He's taking his chances, you know. He's the only real young player like that that's with them. So he could use his thing, and it's an avenue, you know. You never know how you could develop, really. So it could be, I wouldn't say near future, but he might be someone that could play in Europa League or whatever, or it could just be a pre-season thing. It's like United. I'm seeing Bear youths running up and down for United against Liverpool. Bear of them are not going to make it United, and Bear of them are going to get collapsed. It's not a that thing. How are people hyping up Zinchenko? He's a bang average player. I mean, you can be bang average. Average isn't necessarily a bad thing. You just got to be consistent, dependable, and reliable. And to a degree, when called upon with City, with their City tax, he's got that. Love for the super chat, man. So, yeah, man. Obviously, keep your opinions in that comment. Do Arsenal fans still hate Van Persie? I don't know, man. Loyalty is an outdated concept, man. Loyalty is too subjective, man. It is what it is. So yeah, man. Let's get into stuff. Any chance of signing Alwa? I mean, he's there for the cheap. Again, if you're not a mod, you can't send links on Twitch, you know. So one of the moderators, pick up where they left off, please. And help them out, man. But yeah, man, a promise is a promise. I'm acting, people. I know some of you lot are cussing me. Listen, we're getting into it now. What's the time on the clock? It is 109. 109. Let's call that 109.30. So yeah, let's start with the transfer news, people. Where I would like to start actually is close that. I want to start with the Athletics article, if I'm completely honest with you, because that I think they kind of killed multiple birds with one stone sort of thing. What's this? So yeah, man, let's get into it straight away. Hit the like button if you haven't, people. Fantastic as usual. Whisper it to let's activate again. You know, unless you're a mod on Twitch, you can't send them, man. People move mad. I wish YouTube would have that as well. In fact, now YouTube does that. You can't post links. All right. Arsenal transfers. What next after losing out on Rafinha and Martinez? Trying to skip through a few paragraphs. Just a few weeks ago, technical director Edu and recruitment department were focused on the acquisitions of Gabriel Jesus, Rafinha, and Lisandro Martinez. And you got one of the three. Now, obviously, that's meaty, but, you know, this is what happens. Variable shift. If you had a free run at Rafinha, you probably would have got him. But Chelsea got involved, became his second option. The man's heart was set on Barcelona. Lisandro Martinez, us and United were taken around the houses. United were prepared to pay the money, give Ajax what they want. And obviously the Ten Hag factor. Cool, that happens. You know, you could have lost out. You could have got Rafinha and Lissandro, and we could be talking about not having a striker. As long as we're not Premier League or Champions League champions, as long as our manager respectfully doesn't hold weight, we need, and as long as our club are not doing what others are doing, we have to be prepared to miss out on targets. So cool, you missed out. Can you get someone with the same profile as Rafinha? Whatever you liked in the guy, whatever you liked in Lissandro Martinez as well. It is what it is, people. So yeah, Jesus is on preseason tour. We did get Fabio Vieira in. Good for them. Rafinha's with Barca. Martinez moving closer to his move to Manchester United. It is what it is, people. So yeah, we know that didn't bang. Arsenal's pursuit of Manchester City defender Zinchenko shows they are prepared to deal with setback. Athletic brown nosing a bit, trying to keep their leaks in the club, making sure they're giving information. In the cases of both Rafinha and Martinez, there are significant, whatever that means, circumstances. Rafinha's preference was always Barca. Edu's got he's got close ties to Barcelona. Arsenal only stepped up their interest when they this is a surprise to many, including Leeds, that they have ultimately come through. They know drug dealers, cartel members, and dodgy accountants. Barcelona, come on now. You knew they would find the bands for that. We've seen this, you know. And they've suddenly found peas for Bernardo Silva. They're going to find peas again for it, people. Martinez was open to the prospect of joining Arsenal, but United held two significant advantages. The defender was keen on a reunion at Old Trafford with Ten Hag. And obviously has coached him there for the past 3 seasons. What's more was his preference to play as a centre-back, whereas Arsenal envisioned him using the 5'9", 175cm Martinez primarily as a left-back. So again, he's played 12 times at left-back, probably even less, probably even less in centre-mid. He's a centre-back. He wants to go to the World Cup. You can fit in at United. Amari betrayed Arsenal. He hasn't betrayed anything, man. The only loyalty he owes is himself. Is he at Arsenal because he's, where he's only at Arsenal because he's a good footballer? If Amari was probably, I'm not going to say me, I'm on a baller and that. If he was like you, then he would be shit and he wouldn't be at Arsenal. He'd probably be working a 9 to 5. Not that there's anything wrong with that. My point is he's there because he's a baller or he's got potential. All of them are. You think Paterno's there because Arsenal like him? You could make it in the first team or you can make us some money. What are you, man, talking about? I know football's tribal and stuff, but let's be sensible and have some common sense with what we're saying. I know football's tribal and stuff, but it's dead, really. So, yeah, he didn't want to play left back. Simple as that. Scrolling all the way down, this year they have sought to add targets of a higher caliber, and with that comes greater competition. As scouting networks and analytical departments become increasingly sophisticated, it is no surprise that the same names appear on shopping lists of a lot of the game's elite clubs. Yes, we know this. In this year's winter window, Spurs added duo Kulusevski and Bentancur. Both players had been followed by Arsenal, and just days from the end of January, Kulusevski's reps considered the Emirates Stadium his most likely destination, not the place down the road. You snooze, you lose. Obviously, last summer it was Tomiyasu and Emerson Royal. This year, Chelsea and Spurs both showed interest in Jesus, only declining to enter the bidding war. When it emerged, the player had an agreement in place with Edu and obviously Mikel Arteta. Interestingly, the game's big clubs all have the same targets, of course, because there's only a certain amount that can improve these players. And obviously, in terms of money spent to grabbing players, there's not enough value for money. Even when you've bought a player that is quality and world-class and an amazing player, you still have to overpay for them, really and truly. So, yeah, man. Charles, who cares if he left, bro? It is what it is, man. The guy's moved on. It is what it is. It is what it is. Move on with that. Shout out Rants for the raid, my Killy. Oh, it's a bit early for Rants to be live streaming, isn't it? Why is Rants on? Shout out Rants. Why is it? Normally Rants is in the afternoon. Oh, well. Thanks, Rants. Now, I don't know what I'm going to watch in the afternoon, mate. But carrying on with this. 1 second. What the hell? What's going on here? I'm coming. I think I got a post all order, so we'll do that in a second. Big up Rants for the raid, man. One love for the raid, Rants. So, yeah. This year Chelsea and Spurs both showed an interest in blah, blah, blah. We know Arsenal qualified for the Champions League. Unfortunately, there's a lot of waffle in this article, people. It does become a bit jarring. So, yeah, Martinez didn't bang. Rafinha didn't bang. Got Jesus over the line. So, yeah, it is what it is, people. Moving away from that, where's the tangible stuff? So, what now? Arsenal initially hoped to lure Jules Koundé from Sevilla to play centre-back, but the Frenchman was unwilling to join. Instead, they turned to Brighton defender Benjamin White for 50 million. Ramsdale became their first choice target only after Arsenal realised it was impossible to sign David Raya. A deal with Bologna for Tomiyasu came together in the final hours of the deadline day after Arsenal had pursued interest in several alternatives, including Royal of Barcelona. In most cases, Arsenal have a list of targets for each positional requirement. There will be a plan A, B, and C, and several players who are monitored in each area of the squad that is deemed a priority. That shouldn't be anything new. That shouldn't be anything new. That should be every club should do that. Have a plan for a plan for a plan for a plan for a plan. That doesn't make sense, really. So it's great that Arsenal are doing that, but yeah, man, it is what it is. Okay, United played pre-season. I was thinking, what's going on, man? So yeah, man. We know what part of Eddie's job is to do. I don't really want to know about this. You know, they rated Rafinha's Premier League experience, goal threat, and relentlessness. Arsenal also felt that Martinez was a potential unicorn of a left back, someone who was a capable defender, but also could have played a valuable role helping build the play in midfield. Finding players with specific combinations of attributes is no easy task. Blah blah blah. Zinchenko is another one who can operate in similar zones to Martinez, starting at left back but moving into midfield in possession. We know this. Arteta is a long-term admirer of him. I'm trying to skip a lot of these things because it's not really tangible stuff that they're talking about. It is what it is. If Arsenal cannot get Zinchenko as possible, they will choose to persist with their existing left-back options of Tini and Tavares. Apparently, Glimundo is not currently a target. In attack, they are also likely to activate Plan B if, as expected, Pepe leaves. We know Pepe's changed agent. The expectation is that Arsenal would push ahead with a move for an alternative target to Rafinha, although contrary to reports, Lucas Paqueta is not currently a focus. Arsenal are admirers of Lyon's 26-year-old Brazilian, but having already signed Vieira, they have other positional priorities. In some incidences, those positional priorities can shift. Lately, Arsenal have been given greater consideration to strengthening central midfield options. Lately, this should have been the first area addressed when Arteta came in. So yeah, man, doesn't really say anything. It just says when Paqueta's got admirers, but he's not exactly someone that's favoured at Arsenal and things like that. So necessarily beyond us thinking he's good. So I don't know about any of that. Flies are taking it upon me to come into my room. 1 second, people. I'll be right back. It seems as though I have greetings. Big up North Macedonia. I think I've got an order, people. So let me go and look at that quickly. 1 second. I'll be back. Still here, folks. 1 sec. Hit the like button. Back again, folks. Back again. So yeah, Paqueta, as again, Lucas Paqueta is not currently a focus. Arsenal are admirers of Lyon's 26-year-old Brazilian, but having signed Vieira, they have other positional priorities. Okay, so bring in a right winger, bring in an 8, and then we can shut up about things, people. Yeah, man. It is what it is. So yeah, moving away from that, big up you lot. You lot are in top form. And pardon me, going over to, good old Google Chrome and that. Zinchenko, Arsenal, mad for giving City money. I know people like laughing at Arsenal, but like, make sure there's big up rants again. There's reasons to laugh. What's wrong with Zinchenko? I'm not saying he's amazing. I'm not saying he's lit. But what's wrong with him? He's not a bad footballer. And I do think Zinchenko, in some aspects of defending, is suspect. And there'll be flaws evidently at left back because we're not going to be on the front foot like City 9 times out of 10. We're not as good as City. Obviously, when you're surrounded by them stars there, you can scumbag a couple things. But it's better than moving Cedric there. It's better than Tavares there. It's better than putting Xhaka there. It's better than putting Bukayo Saka there, really, and losing the threat of right wing. So by all means, laugh at Arsenal and that. But I mean, come on now, man, are just laughing for no reason. Even half of Rance's boys are here, and they'll laugh at Arsenal in any given aspect. Not even they're running shit, man. It's like, oh, what's all this, man? Love for everyone watching the ads as well, man. So it's not really making sense, man. Would love to see Paqueta because he can really supply a lot of balls for our strikers and even score and more assists. I hear that, man. I hear that. Big up my guy Khan. Big up, bro. I've got man hating on my Arsenal group chats about Zinchenko. I think he'll be a solid addition to the squad. Brings the mentality. I agree with you, but apart from the mentality thing, and it's not because you're wrong. It's just not you, but I feel Arsenal. We keep looking at one done to change our mentalities. Like we keep screaming about this, and you know it needs to be a collective effort. Pep could have all the ideas if he wanted. If the players didn't buy in, it's a myth. The players could have all the ideas. One man can't change it. And you're right, though. Zinchenko been at City, been captain for Norway. Lokonga, captain of Anderlecht, a bit of a sideman. Last summer we was kind of looking at them young leaders and things. Fabio Vieira's captain Porto and won a league title at a point. So I'm taking him, but yeah, man, I'm taking Zinchenko. I hope it happens because I think he's better than Gilmando. Lisandro Martinez don't want to play left back based on what we just read, and we can't get him. Obviously, Aaron Hickey, we didn't bid allegedly, so we're not going to get him. So it's all a myth. Fabrizio Romano has said Zinchenko can leave the club. Arsenal are prepared to submit an official proposal. If you're a Chelsea fan, though, Nathan Ake is staying at the club after talks with Guardiola, despite personal terms being agreed with his previous team, and they're still working on signing Kimpembe. People, I don't know if you can, these in the nose and things, but he did have a decent success rate, and then he kind of went outside. Apparently, Arsenal have on the 13th of July, Arsenal have officially inquired about Lucas Paqueta. The response is 65 million, which is about 55 million quid. Arsenal will not pay that as upfront. Happy to offer around 40 million plus add-ons. Player dreams of Premier League football and likes the fact there are Brazilians in the squad. Expect movement this week, and the week's done, my brother, innit? Well, technically not. But he said Arsenal meeting with Lyon reps on Saturday, talks to start over transfer of Lucas Paqueta. Arsenal want Brazilian top midfield target. Very contrasting to what the Athletic just said, but it is what it is. Austin Tusty has joined Birmingham City on loan, the young American people. So yeah, best of luck to him. Allegedly, Arsenal are ready to cut their losses on a couple of things, people. I'll get into your opinions in a sec. I'm not airing no one. It's just obviously I'm trying to progress through this. We saw this yesterday, but we're ready to cut our losses on Nicolas Pepe. He's drawing interest from Sevilla, Marseille, and Lyon. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. It didn't work out. I still think you never be our talisman, but you could be part of the squad. But you deserve to play under a manager that's going to play you. Arteta deserves to have options he's going to utilize in it. So keep it moving, really. Cut it short. Keep it moving. Get out of there. 245 likes on YouTube. Keep running that up, people. Leeds apparently are monitoring the situation as well as Lyon. I mean, could you offer Lyon Pepe on loan and some money for Lucas Paqueta? Could you try and sell him? I don't think you're gonna be able to sell Pepe. I think dry loan is the best thing. Leeds, you just got Rafinha money, so can we Bandilu them? Sevilla, boy, they took Martial, so they'll take people on loan. Marseille can't. We've got a good relationship with them. You got a new agent, so make something happen in it. But yeah, man, his contract's up in 2 years. Little to no talk about a renewal. Can't buy a game. Cost 72 million. This is almost unheard of, really. So it's a bit of a myth, he can't get anywhere. According to this report, Sevilla have begun talks with Arsenal over Pepe's availability. His wages are a bit of a myth, and he would need to lower his lower his current 100k per week demands if a move is to happen. He's on more than that for what it's worth, I believe. But yeah, there's also a question over a fee. Sevilla only prepared to pay 15. 15. Boy, bite your hand off for them people. Arsenal are holding out for around 10 million more. 25 million for Pepe. I think that's what we should have bought him for initially. But boy, I don't know, people. I don't know what's going on there. So we'll have to see how that one specifically develops. Once again, why Manchester City player fits Arsenal style of play under Mikel Arteta? Why? We know he can play left back, he can play midfield, something I want to see. We know he would step into midfield, a bit like what Tomiyasu does, but on the left-hand side. I don't really want to read this was really. I think he could get a lot of time in midfield, but, in the heads-to-head, a lot more, played forward passes a lot more, created chances a lot more, passing accuracy is better, one possession a lot more. They're very similar. So, again, you should be playing in midfield as well. We all know Kyle Walker talked up his abilities as well as of playing, being one of the most technical ballers at City. So why not, man? Xhaka wins more challenges in the middle of the pitch than Zinchenko, but that is the Arsenal man's speciality. Okay. And he's obviously reliable, man. So yeah, big up to you. But there would be an evident Arsenal tax. Again, obviously the interest has been revived, in Zinchenko people. What's all of this? Nah, I don't. This is just waffle. Big up James Baines. But this is just looking like waffle. Zinchenko set to complete £35 million move to Arsenal from Man City with a deal to be agreed in the coming days as Pep Guardiola allows him to leave for more game time. I mean, if you could wrap the signings of him and thingy up, then I'm all for it. But it feels like dream chasing, people. Is it really a violation, bro? That's about right for Pepe, really and truly. Yeah, you pay more. If I'm a club, I'm doing what happened with Torreira. I'm saying, yo, I'll take him on loan. I'll give you a little loan fee. This time next year, say to Arsenal, boy, he's got a year left. You really going to let your £72 million man leave for free? Oh, this 10 million. I do think 25 million is a bit of a fair price, but, I would sit there and say he cost 72 million. All the talk around Arsenal getting a new contract at Arsenal is surrounding Saka, Martinelli, and Saliba. It's nothing to do with the £72 million man. You couldn't get a game. Everyone's talking about Arsenal rebuilding and things like that. Nothing said with Pepe. It's not that I don't fuck with Pepe. I think he's a decent squad player. I think he's got ability, but we're at where we're at. We keep saying the same things. I don't think Arteta is convinced on him. He's very hot and cold. We've been down this road, didn't it, really? And I think for him, he deserves to go somewhere he can play some football, really. But apparently, Zinchenko is set to complete £35 million move to Arsenal from City with a deal to be agreed in the coming days. Mikel Arteta is keen to bring in Zinchenko to add versatility within his squad. The 25-year-old is hoping for more game time after playing 15 times last season. Only 15 times. Surely that's was. Surely that's was. Surely that's was. Surely that's was. Love for the super chat, my guy Gary. I can't leave this hanging. I appreciate that. Big up you. In whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, please make sure you're continuing to subscribe, follow, and them things. Thank you for departing with your fiver, my guy. Good afternoon from me as a Newcastle fan, and the Premier League will be very interesting with plenty of new talent to shine in the Premier League. You're right, man. I just hope Arsenal are able to be part of that conversation, really. Flies are coming in. I need to my fly spray, please. My house is not the house for it. Don't think because the window's open, it's a rave. I'm a killer. I'm a cold-hearted killer. I'll kill you and leave your dead body so your family or flies can see you. Please, I'm not a nice guy. Anyways, staying on task, people, and not being childish. It would be lit for Zinchenko. If you get Zinchenko, you get Paqueta, you get Telemans over the line, we can progress, man. But yeah, he's expected to complete a move to Arsenal. Until I hear bid made, fee agreed, medical, holding shirts, it's all premature, innit? But at this point, you want people in now because we're getting closer to the start of the season. There's not many games left. Like what Arsenal, we're going to play Chelsea, we're going to play Everton, we're going to play Orlando, probably play some behind closed doors friendlies, but we've got a couple games in America. We've got the Emirates Cup, and then it's showtime on Friday against Palace. You could get a lot of game time here. It all depends on how much, if you do get Telemans and Zinchenko, then what's going to happen with Xhaka? Because I do think Arteta isn't going to make Xhaka a squad player like that, really and truly. But I'm all for it, people. I'm all for it, man. And when we signed Gabriel Jesus, the conversation must have filtered towards Zinchenko, even if not directly. He must have just asked the questions, really and truly. For what it's worth, we're interested in Zinchenko in May. He's valued at about 35 million, about 5 million more. I know he's 25, but about £5 million more than I would like to spend on him. But Arsenal, as discussed with Pepe, can do a lot worse, people. So yeah, man, we all know he's got versatility. We all know Arteta's worked with the individual before. We all know he's got mentality. We all know, he's a decent player. He's not terrible at all, really. So yeah, we'd like to bring in Zinchenko, but it seems that nothing's going on there, really. Yesterday, you heard we're entering talks around the individual. So yeah, it is what it is where that's concerned. Gnabry has signed a new deal at Bayern Munich. If some Arsenal fans had any hope that we was getting him, United fans, it looks like you've got Lisandro if you needed more confirmation. Gnabry signed a new deal until 2027. So that's that one there. Come on, lie to me, man. I swear you lot were lying to me and talking about Sane. Obviously, Amari Hutchinson's cutting out and joining Chelsea. Can't lie, Zach Sturridge, the left back. If I was Chelsea, if they develop him right, they're either going to get a first team player or they're going to sell him for a decent profit. Brighton should be a bit peed off with that, really. So It doesn't appear that there's nothing. Once again, that's all Pepe. Milinkovic Savic rumours. Once again, Arsenal to bid 50 million. You know that's cap. You know that's not going to happen. We'd all like Milinkovic. Chasing really and truly, you'd be extremely naive to suggest to really think you're getting that. Is there any transfer news that I'm ignorant to? People haven't seen. I know there's some Sane rumors. We all know that ain't happening, but you know, like I always say, lie to me, innit? Lie to me, lie to me. Why not, people? All the talk today is around Arsenal to sign Zinchenko for 35 million quid. Paqueta, 1 minute we're getting him, 1 minute we don't. It all depends what you want to read in it. I personally don't think Paqueta is signing. As I've said before, the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately, man. But it is what it is, you know. We keep maneuvering, really. Like there's nothing more we can do in this life. I think you lot were capping with the Sane one as well, because even though we all know it's a lie, there's no bloody rumors surrounding it. Conde's name's been removed from Sevilla's official store as well. How is City finding money for Bernardo Silva, blood? For every half of these to be fair, Chelsea, Arsenal are funding it now at this moment, innit? And probably indirectly Southampton and everyone buying all their youth players. So it probably does just about make sense, really. But yeah, man, that seems like that's that where the transfer news is concerned. Is there anything else? Let me see what you lot are saying, because I was boying you lot, people. It's all love. What were you lot saying? Okay, staying is a shock. No, really, comfy at City, innit? You play a lot more at Chelsea, but it's not like you have to leave. And it seems like Barca are moving closer to Lewandowski. See what happens when you got these Cali cartel accountants. We're not going to get the money we want for Pepe, so we're going to take a hit, but we need to put a sell-on clause in any deal. 35 is fair, good value overall, better value than Martinez. 30 would be nicer, but moving Pepe on for 15 would help. I mean, if you can move Pepe, easier said than done, clearly, but if you can move Pepe, Bellerin, 52K a week, Maitland-Niles, Pepe, you start freeing up resources. It's crazy, man. Hi, DG. I remember that Arsenal was Pepe in installments, so don't pay the last lot. Trust. Cancel the account, go missing, bro. Move country, go missing. Fly invasion, 100%. Apologies, man. Sorry, I know you spoke about Paqueta, but the deal off. I mean, the Athletic says we admire Paqueta, but we're not in for him, people. Beyond just our admiration, some reports are saying that we are in for him. So it's one that we're gonna have to wait and see. And we've been round the houses. As I always say, the dream is free. The Arsenal is sold separately. Every club, whether rants with his United friends, Top Blues a Chelsea man, majority of us are Arsenal fans. We've been taken around the houses for several targets, even targets that are signing for the club. Jesus took forever. 1 minute De Jong signing, he wants to sign. There's money owed to him. I don't know, man. 35 is crazy for Zinchenko if we don't get another top attacker. £5 million more than I would like to spend. Lewandowski's wife confirmed he's going to Barcelona. Boy, I don't believe Bernardo links to Barca. How could City sell so many players and we're linked with Zinchenko as well? At some point, there isn't enough quality replacements available. City must have other additions wrapped up. But then again, if you're selling and everyone knows you need to replace, then you're going to be in a difficult scenario. Shout out Rochelle. Quality additions needed, though. People complaining out there, but we need all the personnel we can get. Is 5 subs next season. Squad depth matters. You're right. Khan, my guy. Paqueta will be a big signing, in my opinion. Me personally, I'd rather him than Telemans. I'm not going to cap. I think Telemans is more needed, but it's silly season. It's transfers. Obviously, Paqueta, pause. It's the sexy signing, Brazilian and that. Sign the guy, deal with the problems tomorrow, innit? So in my heart, the best decision is probably to sign Telemans or someone more of that ilk, but I can't help but not want Paqueta. And again, the Athletic said one thing. Shout out Mertesacker, but I don't want to get no copyright issues. Arsenal confident of Lucas Paqueta transfer agreement, but Edu sets firm stance. And, Ben Jacobs, who's primarily a Leicester journalist, he said it will take 55 million for him. We've been linked with Gomez as well. Sergio Gomez, formerly of Barcelona, I'm sure, Dortmund, and now of Anderlecht. From what I wing back, so he's almost like he's a counterfeit Bandulu Zinchenko, and I would accept it because he ties in terms of multifunctional players. He's young, he's Spanish, there's resale value there. Obviously, if we're watching Anderlecht after we bought La Conga, we must be looking for Don. So I'll sanction it, but I can't see it happening. Arsenal are confident they can sign Lyon playmaker Lucas Paqueta, despite fears that the Brazilian's asking price might be too high. According to reports, the Gunners remain in the market for another midfielder to strengthen Mikel Arteta's squad. He's been linked with several teams. Arsenal allegedly have kept tabs on him, people. Lyon are now allegedly prepared to accept 55 million. They were saying 70 in Jan. Apparently, he wants to leave and play in the Premier League. So, yeah, Paqueta wants to explore his options, and Arsenal said to be confident they can persuade the former AC Milan star to move to the Emirates. I don't know about that, but we'll have to see in it. So it all depends what you read in it. Whatever narrative you want to paint in your head, that's what you lot will get, people. But it seems like that's that beyond where the transfers are concerned, people. So yeah, let me see if there's anything else in relation to transfers that might be able to happen. See, nah, in my usual site, it's not even there. It's not really there, really. Paqueta is a baller. Also, just seen Gnabry signed a new deal. I don't understand Arsenal's business coming like they're indecisive. We need Zinchenko, Telemans, and Savic if we're a big club. Would Zinchenko not play in midfield for you, man? In my opinion, he'd be your best midfielder. I hope he can. You know, I want you to play left back, but I want you to play in midfield. I think Zinchenko's got a lot of technical levels, especially when you see him play for Ukraine. That obviously you're not going to get to show when you've got the wealth of options that City have. So I'm here for that. I mean, Lisandro can be better or not better. I mean, the guy don't want to play left back. He's played left back 12 times. You know, if Arsenal did sanction 45, 50 million for him off the back of playing left back 12 times, I'm going to look at you a bit funny. I would have, Lisandro Martinez looks lit. United fans, I think there'll be games. Obviously, his lack of height's an issue, much like if I lacked pace, it would be an issue in some games. But he seems a good reader, aggressive, bit unorthodox in certain actions he does, but good passing range, former manager as well. It is what it is, man. All I care about, by all means, go after Rafinha, go after Lisandro, go after Paqueta. But if you don't get these guys, just make sure you've got someone else. I know some Arsenal fans like doing it, but I don't want to hear we tried. You don't get brownie points for trying in life. Even if we've become this society where if there's a race out of 10 people and normally you should only get awards for first, second, and third, even if you finish second and third, you know that you've lost. Everybody gets an award for participation awards. And I think that is, to a degree, been extended to my football club. It's a results-driven business. We cannot forget that. I don't think for what it's worth, we're going to sign Telemans and Zinchenko. I think we'd probably, not in my opinion, but we might be a bit too bloated in midfield. Like you'd have Zinchenko, whose ability to play there. Just assuming we got him, assuming we got Telemans, you've got Xhaka, you've got Lokonga, you've got El Nene, you've got Partey, you've got Fabio Vieira who can play in a bunch of places and play there. The same logic extends to Smith Rowe and Odegaard. So, yeah, and there is a lot of football next season. There is Europa League. There is obviously the Premier League. There is obviously the fact of this fixture calendar list is going to be all messed up because of the international commitment. We all know there's an Arsenal tax when it comes to injuries anyway. So, it is what it is. But I'd rather have too many players next season than too little because we already had a thin squad and we was just further stripping it and stripping it and stripping it and stripping it. And naturally, you're going to get into serious problems in that regard. Sorry, people, my charger. Somebody decided to mute. There we have it. There we have it. We're back in there. Zidane Bow looks lit still. Hope he takes his chances, man. Decent little technical player, and obviously he could put on for the Asian dons as well. There's, in my personal life, there's hella Asian people who like football, and there's not too many guide points for them to look and see on TV, and I think it's a bit of a mockery. It's like, again, if we stay with multicultural, where Black, Asian, other ethnic minorities are concerned, we all love football. We're all waffling, talking about football now. If we looked at our football teams, like Arsenal, I could list and see bare Black players. You start looking at coaching, you start looking at head of development, you start looking at boardroom. Don't reflect the multicultural football club and the fan base and everything else. And that same thing goes not only in football but society. And it's just something that's not just extended to our club, I guess. Zinchenko is anything but average, top class player and versatile. I don't care if he's average. Just be reliable and be consistent. Do you know how many club legends in the Premier League at Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United were average footballers, but they were reliable. They were on it in certain aspects, Not everyone did. And likewise, there's been guys with all the ability, but they can't turn it on. If you're average, just be consistent, just be reliable, just be dependable, and you can do your thing. I don't care beyond anything else like that. But you're right, man. I don't know if he's better than Martinez. They're two very different players, really and truly. You know, if I don't know, you know, I have to assume Martinez was the one they wanted, really, because there's, you know, if Zinchenko is cost less money, if City kind of know what you're dealing with, if you've bought a player from City and you bought Gabriel Jesus, surely you could have done the double swoop thing. So I have to assume we wanted Martinez more than Zinchenko. Now it's gone full circle again. So I don't know who is the best or better player. Probably, well, Zinchenko's evidently a better centre mid than Martinez and a better left back because he played there longer. But in Arteta's mind, if you wanted Martinez to play left-sided centre back, to play left back, to play as a six or do whatever, I don't know about that. I would say it's better value for money, 35, than what they were putting us with, because that means in theory there should be more money to go around to commit to Paqueta, or if it was these Rafinha and Gnabry types who are not signing, but you know you're gonna have to pay a decent amount of money really if you want these dons. It's as simple. It's as simple as that. You want these dons, you put up the cash. If you don't put up the cash, then you don't get the dons. Like you lot know how this is at, people. 281 likes. Can we please get to 300 before the stream ends, man? You lot are violating, and this ain't like you lot. This ain't like you lot. You lot are better than this. I tell you. The whole defense suffered when TT, Tomiyasu, if you don't know, and Kieran Tierney went out. That includes Ramsdale. Amen. And we suffered in an attacking sense. You lose Tomiyasu, you lose him linking up with Saka, but you lose him dropping into midfield. You lose Tierney flying forward. Our midfield can't get in the game. And for a team that struggles to literally get the ball from Ramsdale to the strikers and score consistently, you make it harder. I don't know about percentages for him to join us, my guy. I don't know, but I hope he does. You'd imagine you've got a chance at Zinchenko if we've dealt with City before. If I'm Zinchenko, you can look at it and say I'm playing left back and I could play left back and centre mid. He should be able to believe I could start Arsenal in midfield. Obviously, Zinchenko could be linked with some wavy teams, but you know Sterling was linked with some wavy teams. Bernardo's linked with some wavy teams. Arsenal's wavy. No disrespect to West Ham or Everton. But come on now, as rubbed as Arsenal are, Everton, West Ham, and Arsenal. Come on now. Obviously, Frank Lampard, I don't know if he remembers him as a footballer, but come on now. We must can get that one done. If you can't, then everyone go home. Because I don't care about no Venn diagrams, bro. So it is what it is. Bro, Ray Parlour, but Ray Parlour was on it in big games, cuz. You get it? There's nothing wrong. Ray Parlour, one of the most underrated players that's ever kicked a ball for Arsenal. Why was he always playing big games? Arteta should have gave Amari a chance. This might, well, it might, but come on now, man. Like, no one's gonna care about that if you go and buy a winger in that, man. You're right though. Pepe, Bellerin, Torreira, Marie, Leno, Ainsley, Nelson, loan or Peas, Balogun loan out. That should give us some funds. I hear that. I don't think we need so many versatile players. We need some specialists. Exactly, Alex. And that's where, as I always say, I want to see people locking down one role and then do the others. You know, Odegaard, are you a 10 and you can play 8? Fabio Vieira, lock down one thing and do the others. Because if we use City as a guide point, all of their players lock down one thing and then they can do it. You know, Foden's a 10/long-term 8. You know where Kevin plays. You know where Gundogan plays. You know where Grealish and Sterling, well, Sterling not there, and Jesus and all these and Zinchenko play. But they're intelligent. They can do other things. I feel when you've got these young squad players, and they're learning one thing, and you're mixing and matching, you have specialists you don't have masters of anything. And I think that's something that goes against football. You know, for a long time, Theo Walcott, winger, striker, winger. Martial to this day, winger, striker, winger. Rashford, winger, striker, winger. And it's not just them. There's plenty of other players in and around. I think that is something that blurs the line. You know, I think being able to play, you know, it's a necessity being able to play more than one role. But I think multifunctional dons, to go with this potential word, are killing football. I do think we need versatility and different options, because I do think we haven't got that balance. I think our players are too rigid, or our tactics are too rigid, and we don't mix and match, or we're too extreme and we change everything. So I do think we need versatility. But you're right, we need specialists. Where midfield is concerned, I think we need specialists. Number 8, you've been there, done it. You've worn the t-shirt several times, in it. It's as simple as that. If we ain't got that, then might as well go yard, man. How are City finding money? Them oil states there, man. I'm gonna go on that are committed to the cause, but those that want to walk or flex on us will go elsewhere. Never rated them. I hear that. Ray Parler never heard Benny Blanco is still for 50 million. I won't hear otherwise. Yeah, fam. Yeah, bro. Yeah, yeah.